Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and this is the Week 16 start and sit video for the quarterback position. Hopefully you guys came out with a victory and you're moving on to the next stage, making it 2 more weeks until you are that champion for your league. Obviously, there was a lot of craziness going on this past week with COVID, the scheduling changes of a lot of teams, so this was a very unique situation, especially with the start of the playoffs, which made things a lot more challenging than usual. And then, of course, there were definitely some duds this week. You've got players like Tom Brady who struggled. Matthew Stafford didn't do great on Tuesday night's game. You didn't see a lot of Dak. I mean, there was a lot of quarterbacks that you're normally expecting to see a huge performance out of that really probably underperformed and may have affected you big time. But hopefully you had other players that helped you. And again, you're watching this because you're getting ready to move on to the next stage, which I'm hoping you are, and I'm excited for you. Now, these are going to be your obvious starts. I only have 4 quarterbacks that I feel very comfortable with this week that should be performing at a high standard that will get you at least your average minimum points out of a quarterback, anywhere from 15 to 20 points or so that you should be getting out of your quarterback. So again, I only feel comfortable with these 4. Now I do have Lamar on here. Obviously Lamar's still dealing with his injury and we're hoping that he does come back. If he does not, then that will affect that there. And you might actually secretly want to go after Huntley. Huntley's got a good matchup in the Bengals as well if Lamar is out. Now, as far as my recommendation for starting quarterback, the first guy I have is Matthew Stafford. I didn't put him as an obvious because he has struggled a little bit. And I just, think about as an obvious, there's someone who's going to perform. But I do like Matthew Stafford going against the Vikings, who are allowing 283 yards, which is 31st in the NFL. They're also allowing 20.2 points, which is 30th in the NFL. So this should be a game they turn around. And I think, again, with the scheduling change and everything like that, I just kind of chalk up, Matthew Stafford's performance kind of based off that. I mean, they had a good matchup against Seattle, but everybody, every athlete, if you ever ask them, they're very, very routine, right? And things change, it kind of messes up with them and it does affect their performance. So just think about that when it comes to these changes with COVID and everything like that. Now, another quarterback I do have as a good start, and this is going to be an asterisk on this one, is Jared Goff. Jared Goff looked amazing against the Arizona Cardinals. And with that said, he is on the COVID reserve list. Now, he is vaccinated, and he does have the ability, if he tests negative with the new protocols they've got going on in the NFL, he has a good chance of still playing. If he does not play, then obviously we're going to take him away there. But I do like the idea that he should be back. And he's got a good matchup against the Atlanta Falcons, who are allowing 267 yards, which is 29th in the NFL. They're also allowing 19.6 points, which is also 29th in the NFL. So as far as matchup goes, and he's feeling and looking more and more comfortable. This Lions team is more aggressive. Their 2 receivers are doing phenomenal. Reynolds and St. Brown, they look both really good. And hopefully you checked out our waiver wire video because, again, I mentioned Amon St. Brown every single week the past few weeks because he has been outstanding. Obviously, there might be a wall he hits, but I don't think it's going to be against the Falcons. Now, another quarterback I have as a good start is going to be Joe Burrow against the Ravens. It should be pretty obvious. He did put up 32 points last time they played early in the season. He's got a good matchup, and the Ravens are dismantled. I mean, that defense is just struggling. Their cornerbacks are hurt. They're allowing 255 yards, which is 27th in the NFL. They're also allowing 18.1 points, which is 25th in the NFL. So the matchup is really good. Joe Burrow's got all of his weapons. Obviously, Mixon's dealing with an injury, but he should be fine. They're expecting him to play. So this is a game that's very crucial. The record and playoff implications are just drastic. So I do expect a huge shootout. I do expect a really good game in this one. I think this is going to be one of those really good, fun game of the weeks. But I do like Joe Burrow as a good starter. As far as sits, I've got some big names in here. Now, the first guy I have as a sit is going to be Tom Brady. And I'd say that because Tom Brady is the number 1 quarterback in fantasy this season. But if you watch what happened this past weekend against the Saints, he lost Evans, Godwin, Fournette. That's huge. And on top of that, obviously Antonio Brown's supposed to come back if he's still healthy. He's obviously had a suspension due to the vaccination issue going on. But he doesn't have Evans. There's a chance he might play. Godwin's on IR. There's a good chance that Fournette's going to be on IR, so they're relying on Rojo to be back there. And that offensive line really struggled, and the defense also lost Levante David. So defensively, they're struggling. So there's going to be a lot of playing catch-up. with Tom Brady, but they're also going against the Panthers, and people forget Panthers are a really good defense. They're only allowing 195 yards, which is fourth in the NFL. They're also only allowing 14.4 points, which is eighth in the NFL. So I'm not crazy about this. I know it's kind of one of those things. If you've got him, you're probably going to start him, but I don't feel comfortable with Tom Brady. Another quarterback I actually don't feel comfortable is going to be Kyler Murray. Ever since Hopkins has been out and Murray obviously coming back from injury, he does not look the same. He does always have that rushing escapability that will always help him as far as some fantasy relevance, but going against the Colts, who are only allowing 201 yards, which is fifth in the NFL. They're also only allowing 12.5 points, which is third in the NFL. So the matchup is really tough. Colts look really good right now, and I can see this is going to be a game where they will rely on Jonathan Taylor, which will help keep Kyler Murray's offense off the field, which is going to affect him. All right, and again, there's always that chance that Murray does go off, but this is a matchup I feel really terrified. This is playoffs, man. This is something you've got to really kind of think about and maybe look at some other options, but I'm not comfortable starting Murray if I can get somebody better. Another quarterback I don't have as a good start is going to be Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, obviously, he's not a quarterback, all right? He is an upgraded Tim Tebow as far as the rushing capability, but he does not have a great arm to really kind of throw down the field and give this team that quarterback that they're looking for. Dolphins also do a pretty good job against the quarterback. They're only allowing 213 yards, which is 10th in the NFL. They're also only allowing 12.7 points, which is 4th in the NFL. So matchup-wise, it actually is pretty tough. Saints don't have a lot of great weapons besides Kamara. Taysom Hill does always have that red zone capability, which will help keep him as a possible top 10 quarterback as far as fantasy goes. But again, it's one of those things that you're relying on too many factors that if you look at the offensive weapons, and the Dolphins have a really good defense. Like I said, you got Xavier Howard out there who's going to always shut down your best wide receiver, and there really aren't many great receivers for the Saints. So this is a tough one. So I don't trust him. Now, as far as the sleepers go, first guy I have is going to be Dak Prescott. Look, here's what I got to say with Dak. He had a touchdown. He did have some turnovers as far as the fumble goes. He did take some sacks. He did not look good. I think he only threw in 217 yards against a Giants defense that just is horrendous. But I still just feel that it's going to click. That offense is going to click. Dak's going to click. He has the weapons for him. He's got the only scare is the offensive line's a little bit of a shaky issue, but they're going against Washington. He didn't do great, and I understand that. And a lot of people are going to be a little nervous with that. I have Dak in a couple of my leagues. I'm nervous starting Dak. But part of me feels that, as a Cowboy fan, I watch these games very, very closely. There's just one little tweak. Dak will be back to where he was early in the season, which was producing as a football player, producing as a fantasy QB god, and just helping you get to that championship. So I do think he's a good sleeper. Again, if there's other options, you might want to go that way. But if you don't, Dak might be your best option. Washington does allow some passing yards, 223 yards, which is 16th in the NFL. They're also allowing 16.6 points, which is 18th in the NFL. So the matchup is still good. Again, just be a little cautious, but I still think he's a good sleeper. Another quarterback I have as a good sleeper is going to be Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts going against the Giants, who are allowing 236 yards, which is 19th in the NFL. They're also allowing 16.7 points, which is 20th in the NFL. Jalen Hurts had 2 rushing touchdowns in Tuesday night's game. So again, that rushing capability looks good. They're a really good rushing offense. The weapons on the outside can always be a little shaky, but Devontae Smith looks good. And then, of course, Dallas Goedert is awesome. He's a great tight end. He's starting to really boom right now for the playoff portion of the season. So, again, I like Jalen Hurts. Great matchup. I think this is going to be one where he does do well. I know last time they played, I think he threw in 3 interceptions and just looked horrendous. That's not going to happen again. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's got that capability of really turning it around and get you about 15 to 20 points easily, if not more, with a couple rushing touchdowns. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for the quarterback week 16. Again, hopefully you guys did get a victory this weekend, which is why you're watching this video. If you guys do have questions of who you should start, or maybe you have questions for waivers as well, or if you haven't checked it out, always hit us some of the comments down below. We'll always be able to answer any of those questions you guys do have. Or, of course, you can always hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. The links are in the description down below as well. You can always ask in our DMs. We'll always be able to help any unanswered questions you guys do have. Because, again, this is very crucial. You want to make sure you get that. If you guys did enjoy the content and you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that the notification bell is on. We'll be dropping, obviously, our running back, wide receiver, and tight end start sit. So make sure you do have that notification bell on. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the like button. It is greatly appreciated. If you guys have not yet, make sure you check out the waiver wire video. Obviously, waivers are a little unique with this whole COVID situation, but make sure you check that out. There's a lot of great players you could pick up to possibly help you for week 16. All right. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you guys next time.